Hi you guys, welcome back to Realty Rights. Today we're going to do a little bit of air work like I promised you from the last video. We're here again at Payne Field, right next to the Museum of Flight. And right here is the airport that we'll be taking off from in Microsoft Flight Simulator, the airport that I am going to be flying my real plane here real soon. We're going to do a little bit of air work, steep turns, maybe a stall or two, a takeoff, and of course a landing right here back at Snohomish County Airport, Payne Field. So welcome back to Realty Rights, you guys. Enjoy the flight today. While I was at Payne Field, I thought I'd stop by the Rainier Flight School that I'll be going to and take a look at their Frasca full motion and full display simulator that they have here that's attached to a Garmin G1000 that we'll be practicing on here soon. I'm watching this young gentleman here who's getting his private pilot's license coming in for a really beautiful landing on runway 16. I'm not quite sure exactly what airport he's landing at, but man, look at the graphics of this particular simulator. So Microsoft is great, but there's better graphics out there if you have a graphics card. I don't know if I'll get a graphics card or not for my simulator, but right now, this simulator, it will be for my access as well once I join officially and start my flight training here to get to currency with the Rainier Flight School here in Everett, Washington. I just want to show you really quickly that simulators are used broadly in all flight schools when the weather's bad and when you can't actually have access to a real airplane. So I was so inspired when I saw that the multi-display Frasca simulator at the Rainier Flight School yesterday. I decided to get a larger screen. Right now I'm on the Pavilion HP laptop, but I decided to get a larger screen, a 32-inch. This is an actual television, and I connected everything via wireless Bluetooth, and it works great. And now we have a 32-inch screen, which will give you more of an immersive display and an experience when we start flying this thing and doing air work and all sorts of other maneuvers and practice procedures here, so we can get back into a real airplane. I'm trying to make this as fun and as cool as possible for you guys. I know this is a flight simulator, but you saw the Frasca simulator at the flight school. This is what pilots use all the time, even with the big airlines, the regional airlines, professional charter companies. Everybody uses flight simulators. It's cheaper, it's easier to use, it's more environmentally friendly, and you get pretty much the same experience, as opposed to using the real airplane. So let's go practice some air work right now. So welcome back aboard, everybody. We're on board a Cessna 172 with, of course, the steam gauges. I thought it might be easier to use the steam gauges for reference when we do some air work, as opposed to trying to fight the Garmin display, which is a little bit more complicated to look at. But right here we have the 6-pack. We're here at runway 34 left at Payne Field. We're going to be doing a straight out departure, then a left crosswind over to Whidbey Island. We're going to climb up to an altitude of about 2,500 feet, and then we're going to start practice some air work, some level flight, some level turns, and then maybe a couple steep turns to the left and the right, and then if we have time we'll do a stall before we head back to Payne Field. Yeah, Payne Tower, this is Cessna 2357 Echo Sierra on 34 left. Like to ready for takeoff. We'd like to do a left crosswind departure over to Whidbey Island to do some air work at 2,500 feet. So here you go, guys. I'm practicing to straight and level flight right now, trying to maintain 2,500 feet. My VSI is pegged. I'm at a heading of 05050, trying to keep my attitude straight. And what I'm doing here is I'm trying to lower my nose a little bit down so that I can keep it level with the horizon in the distance, right over here. Keep the nose down above the glare shield. Right at the glare shield. So I don't see it like right now I'm climbing a little bit, pushing my yoke forward. Trying to keep that horizon level with the glare shield, using trim when necessary. You know, anybody can turn the autopilot button on, but in real life you're going to have to hand fly the plane, and nothing will go right unless you start doing actual air work like this and maintaining altitude. And I'm not doing a very good job. I'm 100 feet high and I have to get back down to 2,500 feet. So I'm going to slowly kind of bring the nose down just a tiny bit. Get back to 2,500 feet by trying to maintain my attitude and my heading so I don't veer too far off course. So this is, like I said, the simulator is definitely harder to fly than the airplane, especially with the sensitivity that this one has. Like I'm pushing the trim buttons forward and also the rudder trim. Keep my ball centered on the turn coordinator, which is also important. Pulling the power back just a little bit. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to practicing. You can rather do this in your home on this little simulator as opposed to doing it in a real airplane. Even though the instructor will tell you what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong, but you're still spending an enormous amount of money to have this type of experience in a real plane. So I'm slowly getting back down to 2,500 feet, trying to maintain my altitude and my heading, and I'm a little bit off on my heading also, but I want to get back to 2,500 feet and then kind of stay there. Now raising the nose to the horizon and fixating on a point in the distance and keeping that nose on that object that I find a point of reference. Keep it like that and then just hold that altitude the best I can. So far I'm doing good. So now that I'm holding my altitude at 2,500 feet, I'm going to make a slight turn to the left and maintain the altitude and my airspeed. Remember, when you turn, you got to pull back on the wheel just slightly because you got that horizontal lift component that you have to work with. So I'm going to try to go all the way around, relatively shallow turn. Holding my altitude, my heading, my altitude and my airspeed constant by keeping that nose on the horizon like I'm doing right now, all the way around, just all the way around. Keep it nice and smooth. Keep your head outside, look out the window, keep your nose on that horizon, the glare shield, and try not to lose or gain any altitude that you can. So far I'm about 75 feet off my original altitude. All the way around. You gotta get proficient at this. You gotta try to master this the best you can, because no matter what kind of airplane you end up flying, at some point you're going to be hand flying that airplane, and you want to be able to be consistent with your technique. So like right now I'm about 90 feet high. I'm going to level back off again. Oops, slowly turn back to the right. Keep the nose down. Try not to gain any more altitude. Yeah, you guys, it's going to take a lot of practice. So let's make a right turn doing exactly the same thing again. We're not going to do a steep turn, just a shallow, just a regular 30-degree turn to the right. And we're going to try to not lose any more altitude. Let's get back to 2,500 feet first. In any event, let's make a shallow turn to the right and go all the way around 180 degrees. Remember, keep the nose on the horizon. Try not to lose any altitude. Keep that nose on the horizon all the way around. Look out the window all this time. Gaining, pull it back on the wheel a little bit. So don't lose that altitude. Here we go. It's probably more steeper than I want. Oh. Hold my altitude and level off. But I really didn't want to lose that altitude. Losing the altitude and gaining altitude is really is something you really have to strive for in these turns. So now I'm going to do another turn to the left, a shallow turn. But I'm just going to go 90 degrees, kind of a clearing turn to make sure that there's no traffic on the left-hand side before I do my 180 degree turn. Hold my altitude. Hold my altitude. Pull that wheel back if you have to. Hold that altitude. Hold that altitude. Alright. Level off slowly. There's nothing to hurry about in an airplane. Take your time. And try not to chase needles. Just try to find a proper technique, a location in the distance that you can put the glare shield on, and just hold it there. And I know it's easier said than done. Trust me, because I'm doing that right now. And but that's the way we need to do it. Make sure you maintain that airspeed also. Keep track of that airspeed. Don't go into a stall situation. Keep track of your airspeed, keep track of your altitude, keep track of your heading. Okay guys, so before we head back to Payne Field, let's do one more turn, a 360. By the way, I meant to do 360s in the last few slides. So let's do a 360 to the left. Let's try to go all the way around without losing any altitude, keeping the nose on the horizon. And let's do a nice 30-degree bank turn to the left. Well, you guys, we're going to head back to Payne Field right now. I thought we did enough practice for one day. We took off. We made some turns. We did a little bit of level flight. In any event, we're going to head back to Payne Field. We're going to enter the left downwind for runway 34 left, and we'll be landing here in a little bit. So we'll see you guys on the downwind. Alright, you guys, we're entering the left downwind for 34 left. And we'll be making our base leg turn for 34 left here in a second. We'll see you guys on the final. Well, you guys, we made it back to Painfield in one piece. Thanks again for flying with me today on a realty ride. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little lesson or a little tutorial of turns, level flight, taking off, landing. Again, you know, this is nothing perfect. We're just practicing. We're having fun doing this. You know, leave me some comments below if you want me to continue this flying, because otherwise I'm going to get back into reviewing cars and motorcycles and other things. But I'm going to be practicing throughout the holiday season and the winter, because I definitely want to get back into a plane here as soon as possible. My next flights will probably be stalls and steep turns, definitely, and stalls. Some slow flight, and maybe even a short field takeoff and landing. So thanks again for watching Realty Ride, you guys. I really appreciate the support. I hope you guys enjoy these videos, and leave me a comment and subscribe, and we'll see you guys really soon on the next flight. Bye.